everybody. Welcome back. All right, let me get everything pulled up here. Oh, let me move my mic. Sorry about the noise. I'm trying to move the mic. There we go. Okay. Happy Friday, fam. Happy Friday. I still gotta chart this out. I just got back, so you gotta give me a few minutes here, and I'll finish charting this all out. Make sure I let everybody know that I'm live. All right. Hey, if you're here in the chat, let me know. Let me know. How's your Friday going? All right, let me chart this out. I'm going to zoom out real quick. I thought we were going to get a range here, but we didn't. We can keep that one level up here. Just in case we start coming up again. That would be like my target, basically, because that's where we rejected. So now what we're going to do is map out a possible new downtrend that has formed. Something like this. Hey, Rage, good to have you here. Triple O. Just having a good old time. Having a great time today, actually. It's been an awesome week, everybody. It's been a really good week. Super solid week. A lot of good stuff happening, so I'm excited to talk to everyone. I still got to map out some price action here, so just bear with me as I zoom out real quick. Just overall big picture stuff. You can see we had this all-time high, came down, made a new all-time high here, rejected, and now we're kind of coming lower. We're still trying to fill this gap, right? So this is the gap from last week. Last week on Friday, we closed all the way down here. Here, let me put it on the chart just so that we can track this. This is where we closed. Extend it to the right last Friday. So let's zoom all the way over to today. You can see we tried to get there yesterday, didn't quite get there. How close did we get? Let's see. Yeah, we still had like almost 30 points to reach. So it didn't quite get there, and now it looks like that would be my target, would be that area. You know, you can see that level there. And you can see that if I zoom way out, that's what that is. It's a big gap on the chart. We never quite got there. We got into it yesterday a little bit. Towards the end of the day, it tried, but it just couldn't quite get there. So now we do have a downtrend overall in play. I didn't map out the price action from the high here to see if this is any sort of wider. Nah, that doesn't really make sense. So the way I looked at today was like this. I looked at it like a down channel. Here, let me zoom way in. Sorry about that. I looked at it like this up channel, then it just turned into a down channel. We had a down channel, we had a flatter, like a little bit flatter channel, and then an even flatter channel, and then an even flatter channel. It just kept going lower. So we kept on forming these like flatter down channels until we ran out of steam. And then finally we ran out of steam, made a new low, rallied, and then this one eventually closed outside. We did eventually get an equal high, so you can treat that like a new high. So this uptrend had played out. And then we formed a new downtrend that we're currently in now that's separate from everything else. And that's where we're at now. So earlier this morning, hey KP, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good morning for me because it's only like a little after 9 in the morning for me. But everybody here, please smash up the likes and subscribe. We're trying to get to 6,200 subscribers today. We're at 6,191. So we got a goal here of 6,200. So let's see if we can get it. Nice, Rage. Nice, nice. Glad that you caught it. And if we got... hold on, I gotta sneeze. Sheesh. All right. And our like target is, we're going to go for 40 likes today. So everybody smash up that like. Let's get it cruising on this Friday. Happy Halloween, everybody. All right, so we came down here. There really isn't much trades that you can take in here because it's so tight. This little down channel is so tight. There's just not a lot of space, so taking shorts in there is kind of risky. It does look like a strong trend, but I just don't think that it's one that you want to take anything in. I think you needed to wait. And then when the market opened and pushed down, you did get a setup here. There's a pullback, first entry short, pullback lower high, second entry short. The only problem here is that the signal bar wasn't good. And so it looks kind of congested. So if I had a good bearish bar here, I would have went short, but I ended up with a doji. So it was too neutral to take a short. Because I was looking at this like, all right, this kind of closed outside new high, lower high, right off the EMA, double rejection of the EMA, confirming like possible wider channel. Even if this trend broke, you're still expecting a new low. So I really wanted to take it, but it just didn't set up for me. There's a failure here, but at that point, you're shorting right into the lows, and there's just not a lot of room. So you can't take the failure. You just had to sit out. It does come down and give us this move. So we have a new low, and we actually have a first entry short, second entry short, and it's an engulfing bar. I don't think you want to trade this on the engulfing bar. I think you got to wait for it to close, but even then, you have enough room to take a second entry short there. I had to mark it yellow, though, because it didn't come off the EMA or the key entry point. So it's a little risky, but it is pretty decent. Makes this low. There's a failure here. You're not looking for a failure there. It runs up. There's no lower high here. This is a doji. It's not good enough, and it's a neutral bar. There's a failure here, but again, you're not really looking for a failure there, so you got to skip that. And then you do get this one, and I really did like this trade here. At the time, I was drawing this thing slightly tighter, like this. Just draw it on here, off of this close right there, and then it gives us a perfect touch, and we actually have this move up, first entry short, move up, second entry short, really nice. It's clearly off the key entry point. It's trapping all these longs who tried to long up here. Really good setup. It's basically like a measured two-legged correction. So I really liked that one. That was a nice trade. So I took that one, and I exited. So originally I had my runner way down here, but I actually exited like right here. So I could have gotten more out of that one, but I wouldn't have gotten that much more because I probably would have moved my stop down here anyway. So I would have maybe only gotten an extra tick or two. But it was actually a really nice one. So I got a nice little runner on that one. Really nice trade to start my session. That was my first trade. And then this one was nice too. So we have a first entry, second entry short. It engulfs this bar, but it's at the EMA, so it's a little risky. I widened the channel there and said, well, it still fits. So it's nice, but I only want to take this if there's a lower high, and then lo and behold, we get a really nice lower high there. And at this point, I was a little concerned because we had closed outside and made this new low from this channel over here, but it looked like we were going to continue down with bearish momentum there, so I did like that one. And it works really nice. You don't get a big runner there, but you get a nice trade. Then it comes up, and you get just a first entry all the way to a new low. Now at this point, you have to know that we're out, right? We're out of this down channel. Everything's played out. Close outside, new low. There's no like reason to look for shorts at this point after this moment. You have to wait. All right. And I'll get to your questions here. So Rage, I'll go through the rest of the price action in a minute. So Rage, you said you're working on understanding the wicks, buying or selling. Well, sort of. Sort of. Basically, it's helping you see where the candle pushed from. So like, for example, you have a bullish candle, or you have a candle like this where it opens down here and it closes here. It tried to push up and it got sold back down to close there. So yes, there's pressure coming down to close it here. That's kind of how that works. within the time frame of the candle itself. Jarvis, good to see you, fam. So this thing runs down, and then we end up with this uptrend. There's a first entry short here, second entry short failure. I don't think you want to take a failure right there. It's too high up. It's not off of a key entry point. And this is a close outside new high, so you don't know for sure that it's not just going to do like a lower high after that and go lower again. So you just have to wait. It ends up forming this channel up. There's not really any trade setups in it. There's a second entry long here, but the signal bar is too bearish. And then the higher low, I just think the higher low is too high up. I don't remember. Actually, it doesn't matter because you get an inside bar next to it. So no trade there. Moves down. You get a first entry, second entry long. No good signal bar. Fails anyway. So the failure happens. And then it ends up giving us a equal low, close outside, and then higher low. But the higher low is a doji. So no good signal bar there. Failure here, but you're not looking for a failure below the EMA. Can't take it. Runs up. Triple test, but it's still within this little channel right here. So I don't think you want to short yet. I think you need like an equal high or a lower high right there to take that short. So I think you just have to wait. It runs down, and then there's nothing there. There's a failure here, but you don't want to take that. All right, and now we're into this price action. So let's see if there's any trade setups in here, because I didn't map this price action out yet. I just got back from taking a break like I always do before stream. All right. You got a first entry, second entry short that fails and then makes this high. I wouldn't take that. You don't have anything confirmed there. Lower high is not good. There's a failure here. So this is actually one that you could consider. From here, you kind of have this down move in play. You are playing with fire if you take this. But below this bar right here is a failure. So you could enter a short right there and ride it down. Your stop loss has to go above this bar. So I'll mark it. It's there. It's definitely aggressive, but it is below the EMA. It's where you want to see a failure. The failed second entry long. New high, first entry, second entry long failure. You got room to the lows. It does look like we're establishing some sort of bearish momentum again. Maybe we're going to come down to these lows. So it's reasonable. I don't think it's ideal, but it's reasonable. Then it comes down. You get a close outside, new low here. So you don't want to look for anything short now. You got to skip all this. You don't really want to look for a long yet either. Kind of in no man's land. And then it just keeps going lower. Down here, I don't think you want to take any of these second entries in here because you aren't back to the real key entry point, and this is really sideways. Like, if you were looking at this in real time, you'd see this bar, this bar, this bar. By the time the second entry bar triggers, that's definitely congestion. You can see that just by drawing a thing around the closes. Like, you don't want to short in the zone like that. It's just too sideways and congested. And you can see what happens. You would be stuck sideways in this trade. You'd be able to get out once you realized it was congestion, because this bar would print, this bar would print, and then you'd probably just exit for like a tick or two. Just get out of there because you're in congestion, and it kind of goes 50-50 either way. Then it goes down, and then you got first entry, second entry short, no good signal bar there. And nothing I like in here, but we're off the bottom of the trend line. I think you got to wait till you come up into this zone up here. We'll see. We'll see. So I'm just going to leave this now. Zoom out. All right. Let me get back to these questions. Triple O. My main source. Couple of sources. I would say my main source was Mac. Definitely my main source was Mac. Secondary, Al Brooks. All the trading psychology stuff I learned from different places. Jared Tendler, Mark Douglas, Tom Hugard. I learned a bunch of psychology stuff from other sources. My own research, things that are outside of trading. So all the mindset and psychology stuff I learned from a bunch of different sources. Actual trading strategy, my biggest influence is Mac. And then after that, I'd say probably Al Brooks. But I didn't like do the Al Brooks course, but I do have the Al Brooks books. And I even say it here. If you go to like my school page, which is in the chat and in the description, it says right here, price action approach inspired by Mac from Pat's Trading and others, because Mac is my main source of where I learn my strategy. I do things differently than Mac. Like it's not exactly the same, but that's my main source. And by the way, for everyone who doesn't know, I have a school community called Freedom Algo that you can join. It is $99 a month, but right now you can actually join on a 7-day free trial. So you can see if it's right or the right fit for you. There's a 7-day free trial, super simple. After that, it just switches to $99 a month, or you can do $9.99 a year if you want to save 2 months free or whatever. There's a ton of stuff that I do in here, and so I just wanted to kind of call that out for everyone who wants to know. Again, 7-day free trial. This is a newer thing I'm doing. It's pretty sweet because once you join, you get access to everything. And if you go in, I mean, this thing is pretty intense. Like throughout, like here's today's price action, right? This is before I went live today. And I said, hey, I'm going to go live around like 9:05. So everyone knew. And if you look, I start posting these trades over about 4 hours ago. Or the charts, I mean. And then we start going through. We have a bunch of chat. You can see all this stuff in here. You can see the chart updates throughout the whole session. And this thing goes on and on. There's a bunch of replies in here. There's a whole discussion. There's a whole discussion going on. And this goes all the way on throughout the whole session. So when you join on the free trial, you have access to this. You can see this. We do this every weekday. And you can see it just keeps going and going and going. And you can see yesterday there was more people trading. I think today with Halloween, there's less people trading right now. So you can see this one had 114 comments on it or whatever throughout the session. Like very comprehensive stuff. And so you get access to this. You get access to the calendar. So you can see my public YouTube streams are on Mondays and Fridays. On Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we do a private stream in school. It's a school webinar and it's actually real time. So there's a newer thing that we're doing where it's a live stream like this, except it's a actual full-on webinar. And that's really cool. So you get to do that in real time. And then afterwards, they all get put in here. Here, let me actually look, make sure that, I want to make sure I don't have any links so that I can show this. Okay, yeah, there's that. Yeah, okay, let me show you. Let me check this one. Okay, yeah. All right, so if I go back to this, so when you join, you get access to the coaching sessions on the trial. So you can see here's the one from yesterday. So even if you join the trial now, you can actually watch yesterday's coaching session. Now, this is the first time we use the school webinar feature. So there's some kinks that we were working out in the beginning, but it's all good. So you get access to all of these. It goes all the way back to November. Those are the weekly calls, daily calls, that sort of stuff. The full price action course only unlocks after your trial ends. So I will be clear about that. However, you get access to the coaching sessions and the Start Here course. And the Start Here course is more than just a course. There's the Start Here welcome video. There's a bunch of information in here. There's expectations and progress of trading video. There's a video about the Freedom Algo tools and indicators. And Jarvis asked about this. You only get access to the Freedom Algo tools and indicators for NinjaTrader after your trial ends. And that's because it's a whole process for me to add you. But like once your trial ends, so on day 8, when you become a paying member, you get to use the Freedom Algo tools and indicators. You get access to a 4-hour free course, a NinjaTrader free course, another psychology video. So there's a ton of stuff on here that you get access to during your trial. And you basically, once the trial ends and you're a full member, you get the full price action course and the access to the tools. So that's how that works. And yeah, it's really good stuff. I'm glad that I can do a trial now. All right. Rage. Cool. Cool. Glad to hear it. Congrats. Congrats on your progress. All right, I'm going to expand this out a little bit because it does look like we are going lower. Interesting. There's interesting price action here in this channel. We're going to zoom in real quick. I am going to draw an up channel because you still need to draw short-term up channels even in a downtrend and respect them. There is a first entry short there, so we might get a second entry short, but we have to respect this channel. There we go. If you got questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat, and I'll be back in like a minute. But go ahead and drop your questions in the chat. All right, I'm back. Let me see. Okay. Yeah, Shelly, the lag indicator, no, it's a Ninja Trader thing. So, here, let me see if I can get it. I don't have it on mine because I don't find it to be useful. So, let me see if I can find it. They have it somewhere. Let me see if I can find it. I'm trying to see if I can find it. It's like a you'll have to do some Googling on it. I forget exactly, but it's on there. It's on, like, you could find it. You could find it if you just look it up on NinjaTrader. It has to do with like the amount of time in between like your chart loading the stuff in the data feed or something like that. I just found it to be not that useful. So yeah. Yeah, it's seconds. If you've had lots of issues and trouble isolating them. All right, so it helps you see. Yeah, I mean, usually you can tell by how the bars are printing if there's something off. Bull market trends. No, I don't use that. No, I don't like that. I don't like using the, I don't really like using the DOM and the level 2 data and the order flow and all that. I don't find it useful. I don't find it to be useful for what I'm doing. Yeah, Shelly, it's a lag in seconds. Here, I'll see if I can find it real quick. Let me just look. Later. It refers to rendering delay, which occurs when charts fall behind live prices due to excessive calculations from indicators or strategies. To address this, users should use the utilization monitor to identify the source, optimize settings like calculate mode or days to load, close unneeded workspaces, all that sort of stuff. So basically, if you're loading a bunch of things on your chart, like, okay, that's really high, Shelly. Yeah, it should usually be less than 1. You don't really want that to be higher. All right, so usually if that's happening, there's a couple of things that you can do to fix it. So yeah, you probably have way too many things on your chart. So the first thing is delete your drawings at the end of every day. Don't leave drawings on the chart from prior days. So that's the first thing, because if you have a bunch of drawings on there, that will lag your charts really bad. The other thing is indicators. Like, I only have literally one indicator on my chart, which is the Freedom Algo toolbar and indicator. And so that's all I have on my chart. I don't have anything else. So it calculates a 21 EMA, and then everything else is just drawing. So I don't have anything else on my chart that could lag it. I also only have one workspace open. It's just one chart. It's this chart right here, the 2000 tick chart. I have nothing else open in NinjaTrader. What happens is there's a lot of people will have all these different screens, workspaces open. They'll have a bunch of indicators, a bunch of all this stuff to calculate, and it causes the chart to lag. That's what it's talking about. Now that should only be happening to you if you're, that shouldn't be happening to you with the way that we trade, because we keep things so simple, right? I'm just widening this because that does fit right there. And this does appear to look like a decent setup. I'm gonna remap some of this here. Give me a second. Yeah, what do you have open that's causing all that? Because it can't be. It can't just be happening at random. There was a tight channel in here too that you could find like this. Really tight. All right, so let's see what happens here. We just came off this. Let's see if this trend line holds here and confirms. We might see a first entry, second entry long failure below the EMA and a dump. We'll find out. And we can draw a short-term downtrend too, like this. I look for both sides, but it's based on the structure. So like, for example, right now, we have an overall bearish structure. So I'd really just be looking for shorts. Earlier today, I was just looking for shorts in this down move. I was looking for longs in this up move, but there just wasn't any good setups in it. That's how I play it. And if it's a sideways day, I'm looking for both. All right, let's see. Yeah, it could be on my side. Here, I'll reload my data. I'll reload my data just in case. See if it looks different. Yeah, and by the way, John, always let me know that in the thread in school if you're ever seeing that. Because then I can just refresh just in case. I cleared my cache yesterday, so I don't know why it would be different. Okay. I don't see much of a shift there, but it did look like it just changed here. It's probably because I stepped away from the computer for a few, and then the screen sometimes shuts off a little bit. So it could be from that. So let me draw this again. Hold on. Everything gets broken when you refresh the data with the channels, so I'll refresh it. Okay. It did change those ones. So yeah, it might have just been from when I walked away for a couple minutes. Sometimes that messes things up with the real-time data because like screen shuts off or whatever for a couple of seconds or whatnot. Yeah, it did change this little up move. Here, let me correct this now. Yeah, it definitely did change that a bit. So it looks more like this now. There's the failure. That's pretty nice. So now it's not one that you'd take, but now it does look like this is pretty confirmed there. Okay. Let me get to these other questions. Okay. You did a speed test. Oh, it might be your service. Yeah, it could be that. It could be that. So that's probably part of it too. Rage, we'll see. We will see. It just depends on if something sets up that's really nice. If something sets up nice, then we'll take it. But it really just depends on if it does. Usually this time of day, it starts to slow down, but it's actually moving pretty good right now. So we'll see. So only if a really good setup comes. And even if I don't take the setup, I'll still point things out, right? So like if I see something that I think is a decent setup but is not perfect, I might say, okay, here's a setup forming. And I'll say it's a yellow arrow if I think it's going to be like more risky. Yeah, it must be. I don't know. I think it's sometimes when I walk away, like, I don't know what the deal is with that. It's kind of annoying. Rage. What are you saying? You may have taken... Oh, the failure. That's a risky trade, man. That's risky. It's above the EMA. I mean, it's at least off of here, but that's risky in my opinion. I don't like it, but if you got it and it worked for you, hey, congrats to you. Congrats to you. Nice. Well, hey, you know, I don't think that that's a good setup, so I'm not going to mark it, but hey, I'm glad you got a win. Hey, at least you're being responsible and taking that a questionable trade on a sim. At least you're being somewhat responsible there. But yeah, this downtrend appears to be pretty well established at this point. I don't like the fact that the low only has that one touch, but the midline does fit decent. So we'll see. It looks like we're still trying to go for this gap fill down here. See if we can get it. And by the way, everybody, please smash up the likes. And definitely subscribe if you haven't already. We're trying to get 8 more subscribers to get to 6,200 today. And if you haven't watched it yet, I did launch a video yesterday that I think is a really valuable one to check out. So check that out on the channel. All right, let's see. And if you got questions on the Freedom Algo trial or membership or anything, put them in the chat. Several of the members are actually on the stream, so they might even be able to help answer them too. I'm just checking my other screen real quick. Let's see, I started trading in 2017. So I started trading in 2017. I'm not sure when it was actually full time. When I started trading, I was working in another job. I had a job. So I wasn't full time, but I was putting in a lot of hours on trading still. And then eventually I owned my own company and I was still putting in a lot of hours on it. So I'm not exactly sure. I'm not exactly sure. But it's been years. It's definitely been years of it. But yeah, I started trading in 2017. I started on crypto. And then I got into stocks a bit. And then I got into futures later. I dabbled with options very briefly, but I didn't like it compared to futures. I thought futures was way better. I used to own a company called Mad Leads. It was a marketing agency. So I owned a digital marketing agency that focused on B2B. It was B2B online paid media. So we managed basically like, think of like Google ads and stuff like that. And like lead generation campaigns for like B2B software and like tech and financial companies. It was very specific what I did. And so I ran an agency. First, it just started as me solo. And I did it for a while solo, and then I trained people, hired them, built up a little company. And we were kind of like a boutique agency. And then eventually I got us acquired by a little bit of a bigger agency. And then I kind of stepped out of that industry. I had kind of fallen into the online marketing world way back in 2011 maybe, or 2011. I think it was 2011. Maybe it was 2012. And I got into that space and I did really well in it, but you know, it just wasn't really like my main passion. When I started trading in 2017, I was like, yeah, this is going to be my career someday. I was like, I'm going to work my way to this. But I have kids and all that, and I was supporting a family, so I couldn't just like jump out of something. I had to really like, you know, get things moving in the right direction and work my way to it so that I had a cushion before I got into it. But it was nice because then when I got into trading, I didn't have like a ton of pressure on me. And that's really important because if you're getting into trading and you like have to make it work for you right away financially, it's a sure way to put yourself in a bad situation. Over leverage, trade too big too soon, all that sort of stuff. Because you really need to be able to trade on a sim for a long time. And like to be able to like really have confidence in your strategy. You have to be able to deal with setbacks. You have to be able to deal with changing things over time, restructuring, working on yourself, taking time off. There's so much involved that goes into it. Whenever I hear about people who like, they like think that they're gonna just like open a prop account and like start making money right away, after trading for like a month or two, I just feel so bad for them that they think that that's going to be a realistic thing, because it's really not. Not how it works. I mean, like, maybe like 0.1% of people can do that. But, you know, most people will tell you, especially people who've been trading for a while, you're going to lose money at certain points of your trading career. And you're going to have setbacks. And it's going to suck. And you have to be able to withstand that for the long haul. Just like with a business, right? Like if you go into entrepreneurship, you know that the odds are stacked up against you for you to succeed in terms of just sheer statistics. So you really, really have to be able to weather the storm when you're in business, just like in trading. And you have to be able to, like, just have a long-term mindset. You have to be able to deal with suffering. Like, there's a lot of stuff. I actually think, Rage, that is a good plan. I think that's a good plan. Because then you've basically proven that you can, like, 5 to 10x your trading account, right? That's a huge, huge amount to do. The only thing I would say is that as long as you don't do it too fast, right? Like if you're trading on the MES with like 1 contract, and then a week later you're trading with like 5 MES contracts, and then a week later you're trading with 15. That's not sustainable, right? That's not like a sustainable growth trajectory. That's overdoing it. So you got to go incremental, right? Like trade for, let's say you're trading with, like, for example, 5 ES contracts, and then later you switch to 6. Well, you should only switch to 6 after you've had success for a long time at 5. And then when you switch to 6, you should stay at that for a long time before you go up to 7, right? Like that's just how it is. People try to go too big too soon. They have a good week, and then the next week they come in like, I'm going to double my account position size. And it's just like, you're not ready for it psychologically. It's just like anything else, right? Like imagine having a job that pays you a certain amount of money, and then they're like, okay, cool. We're now just going to like double the amount that you make without like very much change in the actual job. You wouldn't even know what to do with the money. Like you would be like, you'd probably make irrational decisions with it because it would be like overwhelming, right? And that's just how it is. Maybe it's not the best example, but it's kind of like, I think actually a good example is like what happens to most people who win the lottery. They lose all the money. That's actually pretty common. And it's because they're not ready for that amount of money and responsibility that comes in. And it's the same with trading, right? Like if you all of a sudden are trading with way too big of a size, you're just not ready for it. And psychologically, you're not going to be able to handle it. And you're going to tilt on the losses. So it's just not worth it. Or you're going to panic, right? You're going to get into a trade and panic and exit too early and do a lot of weird stuff. Yeah, I think that's smart, Rage. I think that that's the smart way to go. And I think that that's responsible. As long as you stick with that and stay disciplined, I think that's responsible, and that's a good way to do it. If you got questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat. If you haven't done so already, please give the stream a like. We're trying to get to 40 likes today. Let's get it cruising. Let's get it cruising. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Sean, right here? I think it's more so because I was talking and not really paying attention to it. That's really what that is. There is a trade there. You can definitely call that a yellow arrow. Yeah, sorry. I wasn't really like paying that much attention to it because I was talking. But there is a second entry short there. That's actually pretty decent. It's a bearish enough bar. There is a first entry, second entry off the EMA in a downtrend. Reasonable setup. I wouldn't call it the best setup because the EMA is only a minor key entry point. And we have swung above it and below it in this move. So it's not like a strong downtrend. But there you go. But yeah, just I wasn't paying attention to it because I was just talking about I was talking to somebody in the chat. That's how it goes. But good eye to identify it. Yeah, I mean, the midline, and we're kind of hovering above the midline here, so it's a little risky. Nice, Rage. Nice. So everyone, if you haven't done it already, hit that like. And if you got questions, put them in the chat. I got to check something real quick. All right, let's see here. How far do we have to go to the gap fill? Still pretty far, I think. Let's see. So let's measure it from the current low. It's still over 30 points away to fill that gap. I mean, the thing is, like, it might happen today, but it might just be a slow grind to get there. Looks like that's what we're going to see. All right, so your question was, after some years of taking it slowly, what do I think of building up with a prop with rules that you use in the future? Putting. Okay, let me see. So I'm trying to understand. You're saying. Yeah, I mean, so I think that's most people's goals with the prop stuff, right? I think most people have the goal to use the money to eventually have their own cash account. And I think that's smart because then you're in control of it. You don't have to deal with somebody else controlling your money and all that. The problem is the psychology that comes along with these prop firms, right? So I just trade with a cash account. That's what I do. I just have my own account. That's how I trade. That's what I like to do. I don't really like the prop firm thing very much because what I think happens a lot of the time is this. All right, so think of it like this. When I trade, I don't trade with like the only thing I have I have hard rules, right? I don't take more than 4 trades in a day. I take 1 to 4. That's my rule. If I take 2 losses in a day, I immediately stop trading for the day because there's obviously something wrong with what I'm doing. I only take 1 to 4 trades. That's part of my rules. But I don't have a goal on those, right? Like, I don't go like, oh, I have a monetary goal. I don't think about my P&L. I just follow my rules, which are stop loss always goes 1 tick above the signal bar or 1 tick below. Take profit is always based on what the current ATR is. And then I have a runner, and that's how I do it. I don't look at like, okay, am I going to make 200 on this trade? Am I going to make 2,000 on this trade? Am I going to make this? I don't do that. Instead, I just look at my account, and I look at each trade. I don't look at the P&L even. I look at each trade as an individual trade, and I assess it as such. And that's how I manage it. The problem with the prop thing is that you always are aware of all these little things like, okay, what's my drawdown amount? What's my next amount that I need to make to get a payout? What's my next amount to pass an evaluation? And then you're like hyper focused on these tiny little things. You're like, oh, I only need to make 5 ticks here instead of 4 ticks, and then I'll get to this level. And it starts making you put all this weird mental calculation in. Because it messes with your psychology because you're managing an account based on specific goals versus managing your trades the way that you should. And also, they have little rules in a lot of them that affect how you manage your trades. Like, oh, you can't have this type of risk reward. You can't do this. You can't do that. Oh, if you have a runner and it goes up and comes back, well, that messes with your drawdown limit and all this other weird stuff. I just think that all that stuff becomes extra variables that actually complicate your brain and complicate your trading. And I think that overall, if you don't have to think about any of those, you're better off. So that being said, if you are trading on them and you are able to manage it in a very disciplined way, they can be effective tools. They really can, because you can save yourself from sacrificing your own capital in a lot of ways, and they can preserve your own capital. There's a lot of ways that they can be used effectively. I just find that for most people, it's like a trap. The psychology of it is kind of a trap. And the other thing is, I see it all the time. Literally this morning I saw it. I had somebody comment on one of my TikTok posts or whatever, and they were like, I was talking about how like you have to have like rules in different market conditions, like where you put your stop loss and that sort of thing. And somebody replied and said, they said, oh, I don't use a stop loss because if I use a stop loss, then market makers are going to look for my stop loss and stop me out. And I'm thinking to myself, and then I said, well, by that logic, then that means that you shouldn't have a take profit either. Like, what do you mean? Like, you have to know where you're going to get out of a trade. Like, you can't just be like, I'm going to enter a trade with no stop loss. And then it hit me. I'm like, oh, this is probably somebody trading on prop firms being totally irresponsible about it. Like, they don't care, because that's the thing. Like, if they're on like an account that's not their own, then they'll do that, right? Like, if you have $1,000 of your own cash on an account, there's no way you're going to enter a trade and just not have a stop loss and let it go to zero, unless you're just like absolutely bonkers. Like, why would you want to sacrifice $1,000 of your own money? That's crazy, right? Like, why would you do that? So, but when people are on these prop accounts, they're thinking, oh, well, I only paid, $50 for this account or $100 for this account. I could let it go down to negative 2,500 and then it fails. So it's not a realistic way to trade. That's not how people trade. I saw this one guy who was trading prop accounts. Someone sent me this video or something a while back. He was trading a strategy where he literally did this, right? Let's say this is the open. He would have he would trade an opening range breakout strategy where he'd go like this. He would have a stop market order to go long right here and a stop market order to go short like right here. And it would be a one cancels the other order. So if it came up and touched this order, it would cancel the other order. If it would come down and touch this order, it would cancel that order. So he would just set a market order like this, and then he would set a take profit like right here and a take profit like right here. So right now he would be getting stopped into the trade, and then if it comes up and hits this level, he's getting out. And he would trade it with no stop loss, and he would allow the trade. He would allow the trade, if it failed, to do this. He would allow the trade to come all the way down until it hits his drawdown threshold and he loses his account. And he would just use prop accounts to do it. And then he would just go, oh, well, I lost that one, and he would just buy another one. And in his mind, he's like, well, technically, that's like $100 stop loss, even though that's a $2,500 drawdown in the account. That's how he was literally thinking about it. That is not a real way of trading. That's totally taking a gamble that you're going to get filled on your order. It's not a real strategy, right? It's not a real strategy. And people were trading like that on these prop accounts. And that's why all these prop firms came in and started to put rules in place that don't let people do that anymore. Because people were just buying accounts and blowing them on purpose and doing some of that. And what that does is it reinforces a ton of bad habits in your brain. It makes you think that that's a reasonable way to trade. And it's not. So yeah. And Sean, I think that that's smart. You think of the drawdown as your actual account balance. I think that's a smart way to do it. Most of the people are not doing that. And I'm not saying that you can't use these things. I'm just saying that I think that they complicate the already difficult psychology of trading. That's just how I see it. That's my experience personally. Now, I don't know about others, but I find that I literally trade better just on my own account. And this is another second entry. I was literally talking again and I didn't. Sorry guys. I was talking again, so I didn't call it out in real time. I'm like, on a rant here, and there's another second entry there. This one is actually a little bit better than the last one. So this one, you could actually call a red arrow. My bad. I'm like trying to... I'm not calling out the price action in real time because I keep going on these rants talking about different things. Good, good, good. That was a good one. That's a really good one. That's a red arrow trade. Super solid short. Right there. Because you have this move up, first entry, move up, second entry off the EMA, close outside a new high on the channel. Basically really good. Yeah, exactly. Like we find these every day. I think yesterday we all took, like so many of us took the same trade yesterday. Today a few of us I think got the same trades, but yesterday was funny because like, let's see if we can find it. Where is it? Right here. Yesterday, let's go into yesterday's action. I think yesterday we all took a second entry long in the morning somewhere. Let me find it. Down here somewhere. Nah, it was above this. Did I miss it? Alright, there's so much stuff in here. I think I scrolled past it. Was it up here? Where the heck is it? I know we all took one. Here, wait. I'll just do this. Oh, here it is. There you are, Sean. You took it. A bunch of us did, right? Like, Sean, Jarvis, me, Iris. Like, we all took that second entry long. And then, of course, had to have a funny little GIF. And the trade was this one yesterday. It was this visual second entry long. We all took that trade, all of us. And we all got a winner there. There was even a higher low that came after. But it wasn't the perfect place to take the higher low, but there was one that came after. So anyway. That's the cool thing with this. So if anybody wants to learn more about it, by the way, if any, oh yeah. Did the free school shut down? Yeah, I used to have a free school community, but I shut it down like a while back because now what I did was I shut it down because I moved. So if you look here, I basically created a 4-hour course that I put on YouTube and in here, and I put some other stuff in here. So, and now I have a free trial in my paid community. So you can join the paid community on a free 7-day trial. But I also created everything that was in the free school community I put on YouTube for free. So I got rid of the free community and just only have the paid community now because this has my whole course and it has a 7-day trial. And yeah, everything's in here. When you join on the trial, you get access to the Start Here course, which has the 4-hour course and everything else. You also get access to the live coaching sessions, like the one we did yesterday is in here. Because we do, on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I still do a stream. I just do it only for my paid members now. I'm just doing the YouTube ones on Mondays and Fridays. So you get access to all that. You can see in here, October 28th, 29th, and 30 are all in here. So you'd be able to go and watch those, even on the free trial. This course, though, the full course, only unlocks after your free trial ends. So on day 8, when you're a paid member, this unlocks. And the Freedom Collective is after 90 days of being in the community. That's a different thing for extra calls and stuff. But you get access to the full calendar. You can join all the live stuff. You get access to the full community, the price action updates that I do throughout the whole morning session before I go live. All that stuff is in there. So definitely go and just join the free trial. Like, there's really no risk in doing so because it's a free 7-day trial. So you might as well check it out if you've been wondering what's all involved. This is a good way to see if it would be a good fit for you. So there you go. Free member discussions. Are the free what do you mean by that? Are the free member discussions? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you mean, but when you join this on a trial, you have full access to everything besides the price action course doesn't unlock until day 8. And the Freedom Algo indicators that I built that you get with your membership, they don't become active until you become a full member, which is on day 8. But during the 7-day trial, you still get access to everything else. You can still post in the community. You can use it just like you would as a normal user. You can be involved with all this throughout the session. You can ask questions, everything. You get access to everything. The calendar. You can join the school. Whoops. You can see all the events on the calendar. This is all November. You can access everything. So you get access to all of it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I used to have, I didn't do it on Telegram, but I used to have a, I'm not using Discord anymore for anything because it got too out of hand with all the scammers. I actually removed the Freedom Algo Discord. It's gone. There's no more Freedom Algo Discord. Everything's on school now in the paid school community, everything. And the reason for that is because I had a free Discord for a while. And what was happening was anytime people joined, there was fake Nick accounts that would reach out to people and they were scammers and I couldn't get rid of them. And it was really annoying and I got sick of it. So we weren't really using it for anything besides like what school can already do. So everything's on school now. Basically what I did was I simplified it down. Yeah, for sure. Basically what I did was I simplified it down to where all my free stuff is on YouTube and then all my paid stuff is in my paid school community. It's that simple. It's way more simple now. But yeah, there's a lot. You get a lot out of the paid school community. So we are forming a second entry long or short here. You do have to be aware though of this because yes, you could draw a tight channel like this, but this is one of those ones that's kind of steep. So when you get these can be a little tricky because see that is forming above the EMA. And see, here's the problem. This is an ambiguous up channel. So I wouldn't want to take that second entry short. It might work. It might, but it's risky right there, how that closed. So let's see what it does. I don't like how that closed. Yeah, it looks like it's going to work. But it's still, to me, that's a risky setup right there. Yeah, it worked. But it's a risky setup because it's one of those ambiguous spots. It's not an obvious close outside of the channel. So I don't like those when they're like that. If it was really bearish, then maybe, but it wasn't. But it does look like that channel's not in play. So it does look like that is a valid spot. But again, even though that signal bar is kind of bearish, it's above the EMA. I don't think you want to take that. I think really here you wanted to see if you got a lower high there. If this signal bar closed way more bearish, then I'd say it's probably a good second entry. But I don't love that one, to be honest with you. It's just not my favorite setup. It's also like, if you look at just the way that the shape of this is, it's like, are we going to keep going? Maybe. I really want to see us come off like the bottom here soon, but we'll see. All right, anybody got any more questions? If you do, go ahead and just drop them in the chat. All right, let's see. Yeah, I think, Jarvis, if it closed below the EMA, then it would have been more obvious, I think, that it wasn't like an up channel. With how high it closed, it was one of those ones where you could easily just get like a small candle here and then another move up. So yeah, that's how I look at that one. Trick-or-treating, I got a pretty decent little like wizard type costume that I can wear. So that's how it goes. Taking the kids out trick-or-treating later on should be fun. What's everybody else doing for Halloween? Rage, I teach all that stuff in the course, but the short version for my answer would be I use my own indicator that I built that tells me what take profit to go for in terms of ticks. And it's based on the ATR values for my take profit. My stop loss always goes one tick above or below my signal bar. So if I'm going short right here, my stop loss goes one tick above the bar. My entry is always one tick below the bar, right there. So I'd enter here, stop loss up here. Take profit for my scalp would be 6 ticks, and then I leave a runner. That's how I would do that right now, based on the current price action. But now it looks like the take profit is changing, so we'll see. Oh, nice. That's cool. Yeah, that's fun. I'll be walking around with everybody, so it'll be fun. Pretty sweet that it's on a Friday. So, we are getting closer. We are getting closer to the gap fill. Let's measure it. 22 points away. Oh, it's getting closer. 21.5 points away. You can see. So, we are probably going to fill the gap today. I mean, look at this now. 20 points away, basically. It's only 20 more points to get to that gap fill from last Friday. So, it looks like we're going to try. Oh. Oh, nice. You got a runner? Sweet. All right, let me just check. I got to look at something real quick. Yeah, I would actually say, by the way, just to throw it out there, today probably would be a pretty good day to start a free trial of Freedom Algo, now that I think about it, because it would give you today, tomorrow, and Sunday to go through a bunch of the course materials that you're going to have access to get familiarized with it. And then you would have basically the week to the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday streams. You could watch those 3 private streams that are on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You could follow along in real time with the price action. And then by that point, by Friday, you would know if you want to continue or not. And that's, I think, a really cool thing. Hang on, I'm getting a knock at the door. Give me a second, everybody. I'll be right back. All right, let me see. Rage. Let me see what you were talking about here. So, okay, so here's... So if, like, I was taking this trade right here, is that what you're talking about? Okay. Entry... Oh, that's cool. That's cool. All right, I didn't know what you were talking about at first. Let's see. I'll see where Alice is. Let me see where she is. All right. Here she is. Hang on, let me move this. Here, I'll make the screen bigger. Hold on. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm getting a knock at the door. Be back in a sec. All right, let me see. She's a little tired because I had to wake her up. That's a pretty wild career, Sean. All right. Well, there she is. She's sweet. Her name's Alice. Her name's Alice. She's a ball python. So there was a first entry short there, but no second entry. Nice. What kind did you have, KP? Oh, wow. Wow, that's big. Yeah, the ball... Oh, wow. That's wild, because ball pythons don't typically get that big. That's wild. Yeah, you can... I see what you're saying, Sean. Yeah, there kind of is. You could probably draw one like this. Maybe even off of here. All right. So let's see. That's awesome. Going. If you got questions for me about anything, go ahead and drop them in the chat. If you want to know more about everything else, I already went over all the stuff in the school community, but definitely check it out. Second entry short there. Not one that you're going to take. It's inside of a channel. Oh, don't go down there. Be back in a couple of seconds. Okay. Has there been more? I don't know. People talk about it. People talk about it, Rage, but I don't think it's, honestly, I don't think it's really gonna ever be that good. We'll see. We'll see. I don't think it's ever gonna be that great. What works in trading is learning how to read the chart, and that's because of psychology. And I don't think that AI is ever going to be that good at it. I could be wrong, but like everyone thought that high frequency trading was going to completely change everything, and it really didn't change like how price action works. Like if you go back and look at charts from like the 1950s, way before they had all that tech, and then if you look at charts from like today, all the same stuff still works and makes sense. There's some nuance to it, but I'm not concerned about that, to be honest. Okay, so you got the close outside, new high. This is why I didn't like the second entry, because of where it was. But you do have the close outside, new high now. So let's see what it does. Let's see if it comes up to the trend line. All right, let me see. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay. Coming right off the trend line now. So this is a close outside new high. Pretty nice. Let's zoom out. You can see 1, 2, 3, fourth touch. It's a pretty nice little setup right there. It's just like a visual, basically. Like a visual. It's not ideal, right? It's not ideal. But this is what you would call a visual second entry short. Because it's technically not a second entry short because it's a first entry, second entry. And then this is like a first entry from this low. But it looks like visually like one leg up, pullback, second leg up, pullback, right? Like if you draw your legs here, you could do it like this. And it kind of looks like a two-legged correction to the key entry point. So that's a pretty interesting one. You could also count from this low right here, because it's lower than that one, as a first entry. So like a lower high here would be like another type of second entry short, which could be nice. But it has moved pretty far there. Hang on, I'm getting a knock on my door again. 1 second. Okay, I am back. And I'm probably going to wrap up the stream here soon. But let's just see what this does first. I don't want to have to hang out and all the way till it makes its move to that gap fill, but that is still my target. It only needs to go... It almost got there. We got within less than 20 points away. Nice lower high forming. Is it going to engulf? Almost. So that's a nice little setup right there forming. It's already moved pretty far off the trend line, but that's a nice little lower high there. Oops. So this is a, it's a lower high after visual second entry short, and it's also a second entry short. It's both. There you go. Yep, really nice. Really nice. That's a good one right there. I'm done for the day. I'm not going to take anything because I'm going to wrap up the stream here, but... yeah, that happens sometimes when it does that. It just kind of takes off. But that's a nice one, too. And see, you can spot these in real time. You just have to be ready for it. You just have to be ready. There's a failure here forming, but I don't... It's too far to take the failure. I don't think it's a good idea. Oh, sweet. Let me take a look. Here, I'll just pull it up on here. Oh, yeah, nice. Yeah, and you can see that Sean has my leg counter on his chart right there. That's one of the things that you get with the membership. So you can see he has first entry, second entry. Nice. That's funny. On yours, it actually is a second entry with a lower high. My chart looks very slightly different from yours, but that's okay. Because I have a little tick down over here. But either way, it doesn't really matter. It's still a visual second entry short up here and then the lower high. Cool. All right, everybody. I'm going to wrap up here. I hope everybody has an amazing weekend. Hope you have fun out there with Halloween. And thanks for joining today. I'll be back on Monday to do the YouTube stream. And then the other streams will be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for the school members and free trial members only. So definitely go and check that out. Here, I'll refresh my chart real quick just to see. I don't know why it keeps happening. Let me reload mine and see if it looks different. I really hope it's not, because if it is, then there's something funky going on. I don't know why I have to keep on refreshing my charts. Like, I don't have... Let me see. Let's take a look. I mean, I did walk away again before, but that shouldn't matter. No, my charts didn't really change just then when I just looked at that, so who knows. All right, cool. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, everybody. I'll be back on Monday for the YouTube stream, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, school members only. If you're on the school free trial, you can still join those. So definitely check out the school membership and the free trial. It's right in the chat. It's in the description. Like I said, you can get 7 days free and see what's up. So it's a total risk-free way to try it out, see if you like it, see if it's a good fit for you. And I will see you all soon. Thanks, everybody.